MATOKA が参ります。ご注意ください。
Hey friends, what's good? So recently I've noticed that there's actually a lot of Japanese YouTubers that have been popping off lately. There's been an increase, at least in my perspective, of Japanese people creating English content, and a lot of it is actually reaction videos. A lot of viral reaction videos that have been going around are reacting to Filthy Frank speaking Japanese, reacting to other videos about the cultural differences between Japan and America or Japan and the rest of the world. And these Japanese YouTubers are doing really well with views and subscribers and stuff like that. And I think it's a really great thing to see, just because, you know, we don't have that much Japanese representation in YouTube. I mean it in the way of Japanese representation in the YouTube community for English speakers per se. There's a lot of Japanese YouTubers that are pretty famous in Japan, but you know, because they don't make English content or a lot of the content isn't subtitled, they're not necessarily accessible to people who don't speak Japanese or don't understand Japanese. And just to see a different representation or mindset about Japanese culture compared to other cultures is really refreshing to see. Now, of course, I want to contribute to that for sure, but you know, I'm in this like weird situation where I'm Japanese American, but culturally more American, but I also have experience in Japan, yada yada yada. Anyone who is subscribed to me or kind of knows me, they get the gist of that for sure. So culturally, I can't give a Japanese opinion because I am more on the American culture spectrum, I would say. But if the popular thing right now is Japanese reacts to this or this or this, maybe Japanese American reacts to something will also do kind of well. And I will say all the Japanese YouTubers who I've seen make reaction videos and stuff like that, they seem like awesome, really cool people. I would love to like get into that community and do collabs with them one day, even though I am an antisocial, super shy. It's not gonna happen, I don't know, unless a miracle occurs, like a literal miracle occurs, like, yeah. But hey, if for some reason they're watching, hello, hajimemashite, let's do a collab. Let's get it, you know? That's so embarrassing. It's not gonna happen. No way. No way in actual hell. But one thing that I thought I could react to is the video 29 things that exist only in Japan, because I've spent time in Japan, I've spent time in America, and because I haven't seen this video, I haven't seen their reaction videos to this video either. It's my fresh opinion on it. It's my fresh take. We're just gonna dive in and see what's up. One thing that I want them to talk about, or at least discuss in this video, is Japanese toilets. I mean, they're so much better than the modern toilet. Built-in bidet, it like freaking talks to you sometimes. And the heated seats, oh my god. The heated seats, that is good shit, okay? And I know it's not everyone's thing being sprayed in the ass or having like a heated seat that's ready for you, because like it kind of gives the feeling that someone's been on that seat earlier and has been like, you know, butt cheeking it up to get it all ready for your own ass. But I swear, like once you get used to it, it's like, it's good. Good shit. Haha, good shit. That's a good pun, okay. But without further ado, let's just get into the video and see what they talk about, and it's exciting times, guys.
Japan is known as the land of the rising sun, but it could also be known as the land of singing toilets.
Hey, they already started with the toilets, thank God. That's what I like to hear, right?
There are so many things that make it a whole other world. Get ready to explore. 1. Square watermelons. They were invented back in the 70s by a graphic designer to fit compactly in the fridge and be cut more easily. Japanese farmers grow them in special containers to get the shape. Since they're pretty expensive, people don't buy them as food, but rather as a decorative item.
Now, I'm sure you'll probably have already heard this from other Japanese people, but I did not see a square watermelon in my whole time living in Japan. Either they're very hard to find, or they're just like not as popular as the video suggests, because I mean, all fruit is very expensive. I think they have more like high quality fruit, and then you can buy more low quality fruit at some other grocery stores just for like the pleasure of eating something. But the high quality fruit is more known for gifts. I just never saw it. But I wasn't out with like tons of money just trying to like buy up all the fruit and stuff either, so I don't know.
2. Ramen noodles bath. The Unison Spa Resort in Hakone offers its guests the pretty unique experience of splashing around in a vat of pork soup and ramen noodles. While this may sound crazy to many people, the Japanese believe that soaking in such a bath is good for the skin because a broth made of pork is rich in collagen.
I did not get to try that. The only thing I feel like is there's a high fat content in pork as well. Ain't that gonna clog your pores or something? That's just my personal opinion.
3. Bizarre flavors of Kit Kat. Chili pepper, wasabi, sweet potato, grilled corn, soybean, salt watermelon, mango, green tea, and that's only a short list of the Kit Kat flavors you can try in Japan. Which one would you try? Let me know down in the comments.
Yeah, the Kit Kats, I mean, very easy to find a lot of different flavors of Kit Kats. They even have some Kit Kat stores that'll have like even more flavors. If you're trying to get Kit Kats for like, let's say you're in Tokyo or in Japan somewhere and you just want them for souvenirs, I highly recommend getting them at Don Quixote. Like they're usually a lot cheaper there than they are at like gift shops or at the airport or anywhere like that.
Fake food. Specialists make this kind of food from plastic or wax, and it looks just as delicious as the real one. Many restaurants use fake food to display their popular dishes in the windows and attract hungry clients. Usually, these replicas cost much more than the dishes they imitate.
Yeah, that's pretty basic. I mean, you'll see that at almost every restaurant in Japan, just because it kind of works as a outdoor menu. So you don't really need to go in and ask for a menu. You can kind of just see the display and see what they're selling, and it's great. They also have stores that sell like keychains of the fake food as well for souvenirs if you're interested in that.
5. Rabbit Island.
I wanted to go to Rabbit Island so bad because I was close to Hiroshima as well. I think it's an hour or two train ride away from there, but I just didn't have time in my itinerary to go. So that's for sure on my bucket list.
Back in the 40s, scientists brought a number of rabbits to Okoneshima Island to do some tests. However, later on, the animals were freed and started to multiply. Now the island is full of them and attracts a lot of tourists. Purakura machines.
I hate his pronunciation right there. Like, not to be like, you know, damn this guy, but oh, it was very cringe.
Taking photos in a booth is nothing new, but Japan added its own exciting twist to this experience. Their photo booths, called Purakura, allow you to edit photos right on the spot, adding different backgrounds, funny stickers, or writings. Also, you can send the pictures to your cell phone. Or perhaps your toilet, if, you have Wi-Fi in there. You might never have to leave.
So the thing about Purikura is not so popular among guys. Well, I mean, you can tell that the audience is more for like college or high school girls and whatever. But yeah, it's a little, I don't know. It's whatever.
7. People pushers. Subways and train stations get really overcrowded during rush hour. That's why the station staff and part-time workers have to perform the routine procedure of pushing people inside trains to fit in as many passengers as possible before the doors close.
So in my experience, I actually didn't see that many what they call people pushers. You push yourself in. Like, if you want to get on that train, you got to get on that train yourself. There's no one that can help you and push you in or whatever. So you either squeeze yourself in or you just wait for the next one and hope that you're close enough in line that you're going to be able to get in. I'm sure that there are people pushers as well. Japanese people in general are pretty good at pushing themselves in when they need to. Luckily, I wasn't in a whole lot of situations where it was super peak rush hour and I needed to be somewhere. But there are times when you're trying to catch that last train and you just gotta get in at all costs.
Number 8. Umbrella parking lot. Before going inside a building, you can park and lock your umbrella just like you do with your bike. Now you can be sure no one will take it, and you won't make a puddle on the floor if your umbrella is wet. Many government buildings, offices, and hotels have this sort of umbrella rack.
The umbrella rack is super, what's the English word for that? Like, helpful? Why can I not speak English right now? Anyways, like, it's very useful. Yeah, no one, like, locks it. Like, you just put it in and, like, you're pretty sure that no one's gonna steal it. A lot of people end up having the same umbrella as well, so they might take yours, but as long as there's another one there, you're kind of not really gonna notice it. You would think that a lot of people would take an umbrella that's not theirs, or like steal it or whatever, but usually that's not necessarily the case. A lot of times there are just leftover umbrellas lying around everywhere too, just because, you know, people end up forgetting it or not taking it, and so like it could be a sunny day and you'll still see a few umbrellas. But yeah, I would say useful. I feel like most people use umbrellas in Japan when it's raining compared to like a lot of other places that I've been. Like, you know, it's either like raincoats or you just get wet and it doesn't really matter.
Train delays make headlines. Punctuality is a really big thing here, and train stations do everything possible to avoid a delay. If a train is 5 minutes late, the railway company might have to issue a delay certificate for railway workers and passengers who missed an important appointment. And if the delay is longer than an hour, then the railway company might give an official apology in newspapers.
Yeah, the lateness kind of thing is very, very important for Japanese culture at least. I don't ever remember a train being more than a few minutes late, so I've never really had to deal with that. But I know for when I was going to class in the mornings and stuff, they would say if you're late because of the train, you need to bring in a certificate saying why. And the train station, the one where you get off at, if the train is late, they would usually give you that certificate or pass or whatever, so that people would know that, oh, it's not my fault that I'm late because of the train and the system and everything. When I was ever late, it was my own fault, so I never even bothered doing that in the first place. But, you know, I guess that's kind of like foreigner privilege a little bit.
12. Silent karaoke. This is a special microphone with a cone that you place over your mouth. It muffles most of the sounds when you sing. It was designed for people who don't want to wake up their neighbors and those who feel shy about belting their favorite tunes in public.
I've never seen that before. That's not popular in Japan. Well, maybe in like, you know, if you're a singer and you like to practice at home or something like that, maybe that is a good thing. But karaoke is not super, depending on where you go, it's not super expensive. And a lot of people will go karaoke alone. So they use that to practice their singing, and they'll just go to a karaoke place. When you think that you can do that, this silent karaoke thing is a little weird to me. I don't know. I don't love it. And the whole thing over your mouth, what the hell is that? It's like you're kissing it, or like, that's too intimate.
Polite slurping. While in many countries, slurping is considered rude, in Japan, it's a way to show your appreciation of the dish. If you don't slurp when you eat noodles, then the chef will think that you don't enjoy the food or that it's cold. Ah, good noodles.
I mean, it is true a lot of people slurp, but I think when I first heard about slurping before I moved to Japan, the idea in your head is like, oh, well, you gotta like legit slurp so loud and all that. It's not a noticeable slurp. It's just like a little bit. A lot of people who haven't been to Japan, they imagine it being like very abrupt kind of slurping, and I never felt that way. I don't know if it was because I just got used to it really fast, or like it was already culturally ingrained into me or something like that. It was never a big issue for me.
Face napkins. When you eat a burger, it's never pretty because your mouth gets covered in ketchup or mustard. Owners of one fast food restaurant found a solution to this by serving burgers together with special napkins. They cover the faces of guests who feel a bit embarrassed about looking messy while eating.
What is that? I've never seen that before. He specifically said one restaurant does this. I mean, only exists in Japan? Yes. It's not popular in Japan. I don't know. I've never seen any Japanese person being like ashamed or embarrassed to eat a hamburger either, unless it's some kind of like they hide their shame very well, which they probably can do if they wanted to, but I've never seen anything like that.
Water-saving sinks. They're located right over the toilet tanks. The idea is simple. First, you wash your hands over the sink, then the sink water goes straight into the toilet tank, and finally, you flush the toilet when you've done your business. So, you save water by using it twice. Aren't you glad they don't do it the other way?
I had one of these in the second apartment that I lived in. The only problem I had with mine is there wasn't anywhere to put soap. So I think what you do is you just like have a bar of soap and you leave it in the sink, and then you use that soap to wash your hands. The only issue was that the bar soap got so crusty and kind of like gross because the water would just keep hitting it all the time. And so that wasn't really a great option. The other thing is you can't adjust the temperature of the water that comes in. For what I know, it's usually just like pretty cold water. So if it's in the dead of winter and you want to use warm water to wash your hands, not a big option. For the sake of sustainability and everything, I think it is a good idea. You know, because the toilet is in a separate room compared to your sink and your shower and all those other things. Yeah, I just wish there was somewhere to put my soap. I don't know, I'm a simple guy, that's all I need.
Number 16. Strange mayo. No, Japanese mayo doesn't have any special recipe or ingredient, but they don't eat it with salads, meat, or sandwiches. In Japan, people usually use it as a topping for ice cream or on pancakes. A chocolate sundae with mayo. Haha, nothing better.
I don't know, I don't remember encountering that. I know mayo is used as a dipping sauce a lot for different things, but I never had ice cream with mayo on it. I've never had pancakes with mayo on it.
Hey friends, it's future me, just editing the video and stuff. But I was actually really confused about this mayonnaise on pancake thing, so I ended up taking a look at the comments in the videos, and they were thinking that the video was referring to okonomiyaki, which is like a Japanese savory pancake. That's what a lot of Western people call it, or people outside of Japan. But I've never thought of it in terms like that. Like it has a little bit of like pancake batter, but it's also has a lot of other ingredients. Usually there's meat or seafood and a lot of cabbage or even noodles in it sometimes. But I think they're talking about okonomiyaki because you do put mayonnaise on that. So case closed, we figured it out.
Naps at work. In Japanese culture, dozing off at the workplace, or inamuri, is considered a sign of being a hard-working person who's very committed to their job. That's why inamuri is so common, and no one thinks it's a bad thing. Some people even fake it.
I was never in a workplace environment, so I can't say for sure about this, but yeah, that is a thing, so I've heard. I guess here, usually when people are tired, they just leave. They don't care.
Canned food restaurant. Eating canned food may not sound like a delicious treat for you, but there's a whole chain of restaurants all over the country where they serve only canned food. They're pretty popular, since clients can choose from 300 varieties of food from all across the world. 20. Doll Village. The village of Nagoro used to have a population of 300 people, but less than 40 residents live there now. A local artist, Tsukumi Ayano, made over 300 life-size dolls, most of which look like former residents, and they're located in various states of action. For example, there's a whole classroom of them in the village school that was closed a while ago.
The doll village is actually really cool. I think they actually have a lot of villages that are very unique and very cool. It's just how to get there. Like, it's harder to visit places that are more in like the countryside or more in remote places, especially if you don't have a car, because trains are super useful. The trains and the subways and the Shinkansen, but they only can get you so far as well. As for the canned food restaurant, that's not for me. I want fresh food if I'm going to a restaurant, you know what I mean?
No fours. It's common for Japanese culture to avoid the number 4 because it's considered to be very unlucky. That's why some buildings don't have a 4th floor. Stores don't sell a set of cutlery for 4, and the number of guests to some event can't be 4.
Very true. It's a culture thing. I mean, superstition, of course, but when the number 4 means death, I can see why you kind of want to avoid it, right?
Blue traffic light. They use a blue color instead of green for traffic lights. The reason for that hides in their language. Historically, there was only one word for both colors. When traffic lights first appeared in the country, they were as green as anywhere else. But that green color was still called blue. To make things right, the government decided to use the bluest shade of green possible. Okay?
Didn't know about that. I wasn't a driver in Tokyo either, so the traffic stuff, I just wouldn't know. You really don't need a car, especially in Tokyo. It's kind of more of a hassle.
Cleaning classes. Japanese kids learn how to clean in many schools because it's a part of their education. They mop their classrooms and hallways, do dusting, and even clean the bathrooms. Teachers believe it's a great way to raise responsible citizens.
Honestly, it really is, because I feel like a lot of Western cultures, like nowadays too, I don't even know if kids like have chores or have responsibilities to clean their own house or whatever. What I learned from the chores that I had to at least do at home, because we don't have to do that in American schools, like they have janitors. That sounds so sad. I don't know. They have janitors, so it's like it's someone else's job. But I think it's a great idea too. People, even I know, like going to college and stuff, they had to start making like people to actually do your laundry because kids didn't know how to do laundry. I mean, privilege, right? But that's kind of sad. I don't know.
25. Futuristic toilets. Toilets in Japan are very high-tech. To use one, a person should know what all those buttons are for. There's a variety of functions.
Okay, let's just go back and look at these. One says oshiri, which is for your ass, okay? And then this one is yawaraka. I don't know what that means. And then the last one is bidet. And then that one says stop. And then the kanji starts and I'm like, oh, that would take me a while to translate the meanings and stuff. I knew it. I knew they would talk about the bathrooms. I knew they would talk about the toilets. Listen, the pictures, like, they tell you, like, what it is. Like, I think for me, I had the most trouble with the air conditioning remote, just to figure out what each, like, everything means, because it's not just an air conditioner, it's a fan, it's a heater, there's a dehumidifier, there's all that kind of stuff, so you kind of need to figure that out. That was the trickiest part for me.
Including heating the seat, spraying warm water to clean the user up, and even playing music. All they're missing is a refrigerator. Wow, who'd ever want to leave their toilet?
No, why would you? No, that's stupid.
Crazy ice cream flavors. The Japanese love weird food combos. That's why finding an ice cream flavored with horse meat, cactus, charcoal, squid ink, garlic, or chicken wings won't be a problem here.
That's interesting to hear. You know, there could be very like specialty ice cream places that do that, but what's actually really popular in terms of ice cream is Baskin and Robbins. There are Baskin and Robbins everywhere, and people will eat it year round. Even when it's like snowing almost, like it's still, there are still people who will eat it like outside and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you don't find these weird flavors that he's talking about in grocery stores or anything either, from what I have seen.
Space-saving parking lots. Since Japan is a densely populated country, they don't like to waste space. That's why their parking lots have a smart system. They're designed like multi-level garages.
They also have created parking for bikes that also go underground, and it saves space and stuff as well. Those are a little less, like you don't see those as often. A lot of the bike parking is still just like on the street with a bike rack.
28. Robot-run hotel. In a hotel in Nagasaki, robots are a big part of its staff. It's called the henna, which translates as strange.
Right, well, it is strange.
The human-like androids meet the guests, clean the rooms, carry luggage, make coffee, and even smile. However, real people work there too to recharge the robots and supervise how they perform their duties.
29. Interesting, never seen that.
Companion. Sitting alone in a cafe and enjoying your coffee and food is common for most people around the world. But in the land of the rising sun, you'll get a huge plush Ramen to sit next to you in one of the cafes, so you don't have to eat alone.
Wow, I mean, there are a few things that I never experienced even living in Japan, so those are cool things. I would say that not everything depicted in this video is necessarily the norm or even popular, even in terms for like Japanese people, but because it's like geared more towards 29 things that only exist in Japan, I can understand finding more unique things that are not even necessarily relevant to Japanese people, like Japanese people wouldn't even know about it. Honestly, this just makes me miss Japan. You know, it's still quarantine here, I'm bored as hell, like I'm still just trying to figure things out with life and how to coexist in this new environment. Not that life in Japan is any easier or any less weird right now. I feel like it's more or less the same. They just have a little less restriction, but I miss it. I really want to go back. I do think they're opening up borders pretty soon. Not that I'm going to immediately jump on a plane and go back, but I do hope to go back eventually. I would love to live there again as well. It's such a great experience. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this video, and if you have experiences in Japan, let me know what they are and what like appeals to you. If you haven't been to Japan, let me know what you want to do if you go. If you like videos like this, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I was surprised to learn some of those stuff as well, just because even with someone who has a lot of Japanese or Japan experience, like there are a lot of things that I still didn't run into. So just goes to show that there's so many different components into culture and places, and you can always find something new and exciting about it. If you haven't subscribed and you like my face or anything like that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It really helps and it makes me happy. And I'll see you next time. Peace.